What is up, everybody? Fantasy football players from UW Sports Ministry. We are winding down the regular season. In fact, we only have 1 week left of our regular season games before the playoffs start. So we have a lot to get to today. First and foremost, Ryan here. If you weren't sure who this was, Ryan, explain to us why your beard. First of all, why do you have a beard? And second of all, why is it blonde and the rest of your hair dark? Because I'm sure it's going to be so distracting the rest of the time we better deal with it right away.
Decided to grow a beard until Christmas. Just because I told my brothers I would and never grown my beard before. And then I was on the way home yesterday. In fact, yesterday all day I was thinking, I'm just going to dye my beard and see what it looks like. So I got blonde. Didn't turn out blonde. It turned out a little more yellow. Yeah. But as you can see, it's not the most attractive thing in the world. But I can't get a girlfriend or a wife without a blonde beard. So I can only think that I help my chances with the blonde beard.
You're so logical. I love that. But just in case any of you are wondering, no one's feelings are going to be hurt if you just leave the audio going right now and put another window over on top of us and just listen to us today. I totally understand. Okay, so here's what we got. We just finished. We have 1 week left. I think it's a little bit crazy because really nothing changed from last week. I mean, You would think with 1 week left you'd have a lot more set in stone. So I know everybody's curious if they still have a chance to make the playoffs, what has to happen for them to make the playoffs, who's already in, who's out, all that stuff. So let me tell you what we know 100% for sure, starting with myself. For the first time in the history of UW fantasy football, I will be the number 1 seed going into the playoffs, which bodes very badly since I don't think the number 1 seed has ever won.
Kevin won the one year. The one
That's
seed.
Good. So maybe
every other year, the 1 seed is lost in the first round. They have not got out of the first round.
Right. So, and I've been living on a prayer. I mean, this game this last week, I beat Tim 81-80. I needed 17 from Mike Tolbert to win. He's going Sunday night, and he got me my 17th point on his last carry of the game right before they just started taking a knee, just to get me the extra 2 yards I needed for that last point. That's the way my whole season's been, so I have a bad feeling I could just blow up in the playoffs. But I will say that it's exciting to be the number 1 seed in the playoffs this year. So that is set, and that's only set because Mike lost this last week. A shocker, actually. Because Kevin was on a pretty long losing streak.
Yeah.
I think he lost, I don't know how many, 4 or 5, something like that.
He lost 5 in a row. 5 in a row.
Right, and he was up against the wall, looked like he had no chance because he was having to play Mike. And all of a sudden, he got the big win against Mike, despite Peyton Manning didn't do anything for him besides get dominated by the Chargers.
Right.
He should get negative points for throwing interceptions that get returned for touchdowns. But anyway, that's another whole story. Anyway, but he beat Mike and broke. Mike had like an 8 or 9 game winning streak going, so that was a huge win for Kevin. So what that did was that made Mike have no chance of catching me. So Mike is locked in the number 2 seed. I'm locked in at the number 1 seed. Those are the only 2 seeds that are locked
in. Yep.
And then the only other thing we know for sure is that the season is over. The party is over for the following people. Timothy A. Conrad, President, UW Sports Ministry. Jenny Pash, kidding, tricked you. Amy Joyce Lind of the Media Department of UW Sports Ministry. Go, Pat, go home. That's where she is right now. And finally, Julia Cruz, Haitian at heart, is also out. So those 3 teams, Tim, Amy, and Julia, are done. They cannot make the playoffs whatsoever. I'm the 1 seed. Mike's the 2 seed. That leaves Alex and Zach, Ryan Van Hoven, Farley, Seth, Ryan Newton, Kevin, Spencer, Jocelyn, and Jenny to all figure out these last few spots. What Ryan's going to do is mathematically, he has put on his thinking cap, literally, and he has sat down and Levi double and triple checked this. By the way, Levi is no longer a part of the Fantasy Football Podcast after his predictions last week.
He was as bad as me or worse.
No, he was awful.
At least I've had 1 good week.
I know. So from now on, we're only going to say what's factual, which this is all factual. And our opinions, well, they're just opinions. And Levi did preference that last week. And most of you, only half of you listened to his advice anyway. So he did get a couple right on his part. So anyway, go ahead, Ryan. Let's get into going through who's left in the race and what they have to do to get in for the playoffs.
All right. So like you said, 1 and 2 are locked down.
Right.
3, 4, and 5 are those 3 positions are set with the teams, but we're not sure which teams are going to be at. I'm fighting for it. Alex is fighting for it, and Farley are fighting for those 3 spots. Depending on who wins and how many points or whatever, it's a bunch of different scenarios.
But
there.
you 3 teams will
we are locked in for the
seed.
3, 4, and 5 seed. The fun part gets the 6, 7, and 8 seeds because they're all open to the 6 leftover teams. So I'm going to go through those 6 teams and tell what they have to do or hope for other people's help in order to get in. So we're going to start with the top. Next on the list there is Seth, the LU Flames. So Seth, what you need is you can clinch with a win. So if you win, you're in. That's pretty simple. So that's kind of nice. Or you can lose, but then if you do lose, you need to have 3 of the 4 teams that are sitting at 5 and 7 right now. They also have to lose. So just go ahead and win. You can make it a lot easier on yourself.
Win, you're in, or get a lot of help.
Ryan Newton is the exact same scenario. If he wins, he's in, and if 3 of the teams that are 5 and 7, 3 of the 4 that are 5 and 7 lose, he is fine. But the problem with that is he's playing against Kevin, who's one of the 5 and 7 teams. So that's if he loses, that person wins. He has to hope all 3 of the rest of them lose.
So if everybody's fighting for these last playoff spots, this is the only matchup this week, which is kind of weird. It would be more fun probably if someone were playing each other. But Ryan Newton is playing Kevin, and that's the matchup.
So it's guaranteed that one of them makes it in.
One of them it will be in, 100%.
And so that's kind of a neat little thing going on there. So Kevin, with a win, we just said you're in. But if you lose, you need all the other teams that are 5 and 7 to lose.
Yep.
So you need to have Spencer lose, you need Jocelyn lose, you need Jenny to lose. So maybe there's a little winning streak you started here. You need to keep it going against Ryan. And I actually, if I was going to make a prediction, I think you will probably beat Ryan this week.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game.
Ryan
Newton's really turned it around. He doesn't have many Cowboys left in his starting lineup anymore.
Well, no, Felix Jones is playing pretty good.
I know, but he's been putting Tammy in over Witten.
He's
got, since Romo went out, he's had some different people.
He's moving some people in. Yeah, he's got a
fighter's chance against Kevin.
Yeah, I think he does. That'll be good. Spencer, I like your position. It's pretty simple. You lose, you're out. You're not going to make it. But if you win, you're in. So it's kind of, you don't have to, it doesn't depend on anybody else's games. Unfortunately for you, the win that you have to get is against Mike.
Yeah, good luck.
So, you got a tough game, but if you win, you're in. So make sure you put the right people in.
Now, ethics comes into play here because Mike's locked at his position. So, if you probably sent him a couple things, Mike likes the Chargers, send him some Charger gear. He likes that kind of stuff. He likes USC, maybe send him some of that stuff. Maybe he'll bench all his starters for you. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Play to the finish. We don't want that in our league.
Right, yeah. And that's one of the things, if you're joking about sitting people. Number one, it doesn't actually do anything for you. It's not like you're resting players.
No, I was going to rest my team for the playoffs. And I got some injuries, banged up. It'd be better if I sit them all this week.
And number two, there is a lot of playoff implications. Even the 3 teams that are completely out of it. Take it seriously. Make sure you get your lineups in because that will affect the playoff seeding.
Well, there's one game that does not matter except for Pride. Because
that's the 2
Amy Lind is playing Tim Conrad this week. So I would say go for it, guys. Finish strong because the loser will finish in last place and the winner will not probably finish in last place because of the points. So that one's for Pride only. That's the only game that doesn't have any playoff implications whatsoever.
Okay. So that just make sure you get your lineups in because we don't want people to sneak into different playoff spots when they don't really deserve them.
And Mike would never do that, by the way. You're getting his best shot, Spencer.
Right. Then down to Jocelyn. Can't believe.
Are we talking about Jocelyn
potentially making the playoffs at this part of the year when
she scored 90-something points last week? Big win against Farley.
Right.
That was a big one.
You go 5 podcasts ago and we were just about to start screaming and cutting people's heads off because they were making the dumbest trades and she was just accepting everything.
Yeah.
Completely gutting her team and all of a sudden now, okay, here we are. Let's see.
It's amazing. It's amazing that she's still in this.
You might get her at number 8.
Yeah.
First round of
I might get her at number 8.
But anyway, Jocelyn, you are in with a win. And a loss by 2 of the teams that are ahead of you. So you need to have 2 of the teams that are fighting for those last 3 playoff spots, whether that's Spencer, Kevin, Kevin and Ryan's guaranteed to lose unless they get another tie, or Seth. You need 2 of those teams to lose, and you have to win in order to get in. And then Jenny, yours is pretty much similar. You need a win, but you need 3 of the teams ahead of you to lose. So that includes Jocelyn or Spencer or any of those people. So
you need to win and get a lot of help.
You need to win and get a little bit of help.
Yeah.
So it's not completely up to you, but a win. I like your chances of some of these people losing. To go ahead and make my predictions.
Yeah, look at your predictions because the matchups don't favor a lot of these guys very good this week.
Spencer's playing Mike, Jocelyn's playing me, and Jenny's playing Alex and Zach. So they're playing tough teams.
Yeah.
So what happens is if the bottom 3 teams right there lose, it doesn't matter with Seth, Ryan, and Kevin. It doesn't matter what happens at all. Those are going to be the 3 teams that are in.
Yep.
That's my prediction. My prediction is that Seth will probably end up losing. It doesn't even matter if he wins or loses because I think he's going to sneak in because I think Spencer, Jocelyn, and Jenny will end up getting beat this week, and because of that, those are the 3 teams that are going to be in. So I think the playoffs, the seeding for me now, looking back on it, is going to be those 3 teams along with the 5 that have already clinched.
I'm going to go on a limb. I got Jenny, Smash and Passion Pash, my fellow San Diego Charger fan, pulling the upset this week. Against Zach and Alex, correct? That's what she's playing. And I think she gets them this week. She had 90 points again this last week. And just got to be different. I think she gets there, which means I agree everything else the same as you, which means she would go in because everybody else ahead of her would lose. And she would take the spot of whichever team lost there.
Of the Ryan and Kevin game.
Ryan and
Whoever
Kevin
loses,
she would move in. Yep.
Okay.
So I still have 2 of those, 2 the same as you. The winner of that game going in. And then Seth, and then, and then Jenny taking that last spot. That way I could play her in the first round pass.
Nice.
So that's what I think's going on. Good regular season so far. I mean, definitely check because this week, a lot of things still changed. Jenny made a great move. She went and picked up Brian Westbrook this morning. So that was a great move by her, quickly getting him after Frank Gore got hurt last night.
Do you know how long
he's out? He's out. For the season.
For the season?
He's out for the season.
Okay, so you're looking at 25 carries for Westbrook then, I think.
So anyway, that was a great move by Jenny. There's some other really good ones I saw people picking up because what happens is late in the NFL season like this, there's so many injuries that, guys are going to win you games, and there's going to be guys that win playoff games that were nobodies 5 weeks ago just because that's how it works every single year. So keep looking and keep getting on those.
All right, yeah, good. That looks pretty good, and I think stay on that waiver wire a little bit. We're not going to do any of that crazy dropping stuff from the bad teams so that the good teams can pick that up. Yeah. We're going to make sure that doesn't happen. I don't think that anybody in this league would, but the discussion always comes up. Like, all right, well, what if I have a friend and I'm going to drop that player, and he's number 1 on the waiver wire, we'll pick him up. I'll have a better team. But I think pretty much every team that makes the playoffs is going to be pretty happy with their lineup. And just like every year, I think everyone's going to have a chance.
Wide open. So, all right. From Chris Kringle here and me, we'll see you next week. And next week we'll be sitting here talking playoffs because we'll have an actual bracket and know who the seeds are. And then it'll be headed towards see who the 5th ever UW Fantasy Football Champion will be.
Yep, we'll get to see who I knock out of the playoffs in the first round.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good week.
See ya.